What's the date? It's 4/11. So it seems only right to give the 4/11 some love today. So there's a few things I need to do. I did fix a needle and seat problem. I had one carburetor that was flooding. Couldn't find just a single needle and seat. I had to buy a $50 carburetor rebuild kit just to get one needle and seat. If this car doesn't share a part with a different car, it flat out doesn't exist. It's just ridiculous. The only thing that's on Rock Auto's website is wiper blades and car care products, and whatever happens to be the same as the 1600 Roadster. So I need to change the oil. Most importantly, I need to adjust the valves. It's got a little bit of a tick. I did find a source for a valve cover gasket. So in previous years, if you wanted a valve cover gasket, you had to buy an entire engine rebuild kit. So found a single gasket. It has no rear brakes. It has no brakes at all. Something happened on this wheel. I think the drum split and just grabbed the shoe and just ripped everything all to hell. Today I want to adjust the valves. It's got a little bit of a tick, and it's been a long time, if ever. I can't remember the last time I adjusted the valves in this. But I want to explain how that's done so that it's a little easier for people to understand. So let's get to work. Okay, so at the risk of boring half of you to death and confusing the rest of you, as quickly as I can, as simply as I can, I want to explain how you find what valves to adjust and how to do it. So a 4-stroke engine is intake, compression, power, exhaust. To complete a cycle, it takes 720 crankshaft degrees of rotation, which is 2 full revolutions. So you're at TDC, you have intake. This is where the crankshaft draws the piston down, creates vacuum, pulls in a charge of air and fuel. Then you have the compression stroke. That is where the piston comes back up and squeezes the charge. Then you have the power stroke. So we're back at TDC. This is where the spark plug goes zit and ignites the compressed fuel and air charge. This is the power stroke. Piston gets shoved back down by the explosion. And then here is the exhaust stroke. That is the end of that cycle and the beginning of another. Right here is where the exhaust valve closes, the intake valve opens up, and it starts another cycle over and over again. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a 1-cylinder or a 12-cylinder. It's 720 degrees of crankshaft rotation. In order to determine when that happens, you're going to take the number of cylinders that you're working with. This is a 4-cylinder. I'm going to divide 720 degrees by 4, and I'm going to get a power stroke every 180 degrees. If it's a V8, it's 90 degrees. If it's a V12, it's 60 degrees. All right, sure. You probably also heard people say, oh, I got the distributor 180 degrees out. That's because they had the spark plug fire right when the exhaust valve was closing and the intake valve was opening. They had it fire at the end of the cycle instead of the middle of the cycle. The piston is at top dead center 2 times in a cycle. So that's how you screw that up. There's a couple different ways to make sure that you are in the right spot. The easiest way, the way I usually do it, is just take the valve cover off. On a overhead cam engine, you're looking at the cam lobes. You just put your lobes like this, if the rocker arms are underneath, and you're on the base circle of the cam, and that's where you adjust the valves. If the rockers are on top, then you would want the cam to be like that. Pretty simple. And then you just follow the firing order. This is 1, 3, 4, 2. So number 1 and number 4 are going to be at TDC at the same time. One's going to be on its beginning of its power stroke, and one of it's going to be right at the beginning of its cycle on the intake stroke. Volkswagens, air-cooled Volkswagens, are 1, 4, 3, 2. So if you were to start at 1 and rotate the engine the opposite of its normal rotation, which would be counterclockwise. If you rotate it counterclockwise, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Couldn't get any easier. I'm going to get rid of that. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the valve cover off and rotate the thing over to TDC, pull the distributor cap off, see where the rotor is pointing. Well, let's get the valve cover off, and I'll show you an easy way to find number 1 TDC. Okay, so I've got the valve cover off, got the distributor cap off, wires and spark plugs are off, and this is what it looks like pretty close when it's running. So this is cylinder number 1, 2, 3, 4. Firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. This is the exhaust valve. It lines up with the exhaust port. Intake valve lines up with the intake ports, as you can see. So this is exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. As you can see right now, the exhaust valve is open. So this is right now the piston is coming up on cylinder number 1, and it's pushing the exhaust out. As soon as this closes, this is going to open, and it's going to start a new cycle. It's going to start drawing air and fuel in, and then it's going to come back up around. So there's 3 different ways to find top dead center number 1. 1, pull the cap off, find out where your number 1 spark plug, was. Mine's about here. So I can rotate the engine until the rotor hits here, line up my timing marks, and I can adjust number 1. Then what I'm going to do is just rotate it 180 degrees, and I'm going to do number 3. 180 degrees, I'm going to do number 4. 180 degrees, I'm going to do number 2. And then we're done. The other way you can find top dead center number 1 is just to stick your finger over the spark plug hole, and when you feel the compression push against you, you know it's coming up on TDC. The other way, the third way, the way I usually do it, is I just spin it over, and I watch the number 1 intake valve. When it when it closes, or when the intake valve opens and then closes. The next time the timing mark comes up and lines up with 0 on the timing cover, that's TDC number 1. Okay, so now, if you look real close, I don't even know if you can see that. The timing mark is lined up with that little thing that sticks out on the timing cover. And that's TDC number 1. So now we're going to adjust these two. All right, so we're at TDC number 1. The spec on this is 17 hot, 21 cold thousandths. Got my feeler gauges here. I wouldn't call this hot. I would call this warm. I'm going to set them at 18. They look like they're probably a little bit tight. So I never worry about having an exhaust valve a little bit loose. What you don't want to have happen is have an exhaust valve get tight on you. So that just barely doesn't go. I'm going to bet you a 16 flies right in. Yeah, 16 goes. 16 is still a little tight there. So we're going to go with 18, because the engine's not really hot. Basically, you're just going to loosen this up. Strangely enough, this car is not metric. Loosen her up, put the feeler gauge in, get it right where I want it, and then snug it up, and then snug it up. I like that. And we're going to go to this one. Whoever did it last certainly got them tight enough. I'm not concerned about the intake being slightly snug. Intake valves don't get hot. Exhaust valves take a beating. Which is why you never ever want to have a valve get hot, or that's why you never want to have an exhaust valve get tight on you. If it doesn't have time to sit on the valve seat and cool off for a second, if it's just constantly got hot air blasting past it, it's going to burn. And then in the case of a lot of air-cooled Volkswagens, the head's going to break off, and then really bad stuff happens. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to rotate the engine 180 degrees. We're going to do these two. Okay, so I've rotated the engine 180 degrees. And now we're going to do these two. Again, a little bit tight. Beautiful. Yeah, they're no danger of those coming loose. All right. And we rotate it again, 180 degrees. Now we're going to do number 4. 1, 3, 4. Okay, so that one actually, that's the number 4 exhaust. It's just slightly snug. Doesn't feel too bad. Perfect. I like that. One more to do. Number 2. Yeah, everything's a little tight. This is a 96,000 original mile motor. I'm still surprised how clean it is inside. It's not like I take good care of it or pay a lot of attention to it. This ventures out in the world and grabs auto parts or a cheeseburger or makes a beer run about 2 or 3 times a year. The rest of the time it just sits around. Perfect. Well, I hope I didn't confuse too many people. I hope now that if you hear a small tick or something going on, you're not afraid to take a look, find TDC number 1, and go through the firing order. That's all it takes. The specs are easily found online. Just type in your engine and valve lash. It'll usually give you a hot and a cold. Hot is preferred, but if the engine's not even running, if you're just trying to get it put together, cold always works and keeps you from burning your fingers too. So I'm going to button this up, clean the valve cover up, get a valve cover gasket coming, and the next time you see this car, it'll be on the lift. I'm going to pull both axles out of it. I need to change the rear end, the rear differential. When I got it, the rear differential was just garbage, and the only one I had to replace it was a 438 out of a truck, and it only goes 50, 55 miles. I mean, 55 miles an hour is like 3,700 RPM. So, which is great for the farm roads, but not so good on the highway. I have another set of gears. I think they're either 390s or 370s. I can't remember. I'll check it out, but I do have another differential for it. So I'm going to swap the differential out. While I'm at it, I'm going to assess the situation with the brakes. I've looked online. The only place I can find wheel cylinders is eBay, new old stock, for about $250 a piece. So for that kind of money, I will see if I can sleeve these and buy a kit. I think I can get a seal kit for about $60. So maybe I can bore them out and press some sleeves in and be back on the road. I had to do that with the front calipers. The front calipers are made of unobtainium, and I had to make stainless pistons for the calipers. And then I just found a seal kit that would fit, and they work fine. So when I got them, the pistons were just lodged, rusted solid into calipers. So if I have to sleeve the wheel cylinders, I'll do it. to save $500. So that's it for today. Next week, weather permitting, I'll be at the racetrack with the dragster for the first time. So don't know how that's going to go, but I'll take the camera with me. So we're all going to find out together. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Happy 4/11.